Welcome back. In the last video, I showed you how Azure AD B2B is an easier and better way to collaborate using an example of WOODGROVE, a bakery chain needing to share inventory information to their wheat wholesale supplier, Amazing Wheat. Now, as a manager of a bakery chain, not only do you need to collaborate with suppliers, you also need to collaborate with photographers, marketing consultants, and influencers in order to advertise your baked goods and desserts. In this video, I will show you how B2B enables easy sharing with any type of partner, whether or not they also have an Azure AD account. Let's go over the types of organization you might be working with. The first kind, they use Azure AD. That's easy. The second kind, they use an IT solution but not Azure AD. The third kind, they do not have an IT solution, so they could be using consumer domain accounts to communicate with you. We have designed features that will enable you to collaborate with any type of partner organization. I will explain each capability. Let's go back to when you need to share inventory data with Adrian at Amazing Wheat, who resides in Azure Active Directory. Recall that this is how authentication happens in this scenario. Adrian at amazingwheat.com initiates access to share application. WOODGROVE finds the user to see if the user has been invited. WOODGROVE sends the user to Amazing Wheat to sign in. Amazing Wheat returns token to WOODGROVE, and then Adrian gains access to share application. Okay, now how does B2B enable you to collaborate with Oakland, who has an Outlook account? In this scenario, Oakland at outlook.com access share application. WOODGROVE finds the user to see the user has been invited, and WOODGROVE sends the user to Microsoft accounts to sign in. Microsoft returns the token to WOODGROVE, and Oakland gains access to share application. Let's talk about sharing with non-Azure AD, non-native Microsoft accounts. Take, for example, Grace, who has a Gmail account. In a world before Google Federation, Gmail accounts sign up for Microsoft accounts to access shared resources. To collaborate with people who have Gmail accounts even more seamlessly, you can turn on Google Federation, which enables Grace at gmail.com to sign in with her Google account. In this scenario, auth works by having the user go to Google to sign in step 3, and then the user gets access after signing in at Google. For partner organizations who use ADFS or a non-Azure AD solution like Okta, Ping, or G Suite, you can enable direct federation. For example, after you enable direct federation with dairyspecial.com, which uses ADFS, Dan at dairyspecial.com can sign into inventory apps you've shared with him using his Dairy Special account. In this scenario, Dan at dairyspecial.com initiates access to share application. WOODGROVE finds the user to see if the user has been invited. WOODGROVE sends the user to ADFS to sign in. ADFS returns token to WOODGROVE. WOODGROVE validates token, issues new Azure AD token for access. Whew, we can do so much already with Google Federation and Direct Federation. But what about guests who cannot sign in through a federation? For non-Azure AD and non-Microsoft account guests who cannot sign in through a B2B federation, they can authenticate using the email one-time passcode. No need for account sign-up. Email one-time passcode is also a great solution for guests who are still not yet on the cloud. In this case, when Emma initiates access to share application, WOODGROVE finds the user to see that she has been invited. WOODGROVE sends Emma an email with a one-time passcode. Emma retrieves the code and then returns the code to WOODGROVE for sign-in. Then Emma gets access to application. For both direct federation and one-time passcode, because the user has to prove up their continued ownership of their work account or email inbox, they no longer have access to your shared corporate resources after they leave the company, reducing headaches for IT admins. Now, let me demo how to set up Google Federation and Direct Federation. I am in Azure AD portal, and I am in Organizational Relationships, Identity Providers. I click on Google here, and I must have configured credentials already on Google API side. You can go to the documentation link in order to see other steps on how to do that. Once I have configured successfully on Google APIs, I can copy the client ID and a client secret in order to finish configuration. There you go. So now, after that you have successfully configured Google Federation, Grace@gmail.com will use her Gmail account to sign in to your shared resources. Next, I will do a demo of how to set up Direct Federation. Here's how you set up Direct Federation. In the same way for your configure Google Federation, you click on New Enterprise Identity Provider. First, you must configure the federating identity provider as well. And you select the protocol, which is WSFed in this case, and you click on the name of your domain and scan. And click Save. There you go. Direct Federation has been successfully configured. Users from DirectFed 0 and ND will now be able to use their ADFS account in order to sign in. For all these types of accounts, the only difference is in the way the user authenticates. Whether they are Google, DirectFed, or one-time passcode guests, they appear like any other guest in Azure AD and can have the same control mechanisms like MFA and conditional access. In summary, Google Federation, Direct Federation, and on-time passcodes make guest onboarding even more seamless by having no account sign-up, enabling guests to bring their own identities, thus reducing the sets of credentials they have to protect, and gives admins lightweight lifecycle management. In the next video, I will cover some tools that will help you to manage guest access even more.